guys, good to see you again. So I am wearing the same outfit that I was wearing in my last video because, you know, if I have the time to film, then I'm gonna just pump out as many as I can in that amount of time. So I did change my lip color though. This is Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the color Mother, just in case you were wondering. But I did want to tell you guys, I'm engaged. And I didn't mention it in my last video because I told everybody on Instagram and Snapchat, so if you follow me on either one of those places, then you would have already known. But if you only follow me on YouTube, then you would have been like, wait, what? You're engaged? Yes. So Ricky and I have been together for about 4.5 years. Gosh, that's crazy to even say out loud. So, yeah, it was just, it's something that we had talked about for a long time now, and I remember when we were about a year and a half ago, we kind of like talked like, okay, you know, what do we want to do together? Do we want to, I mean, we knew at that point that we wanted to get married, but we were thinking, what do we want first? Do we want our own house or do we want to get married first? And I've never been one of those people or one of those girls who like dreams of their wedding and, you know, just can't wait to get married. Although I had found, like, I knew my lifelong partner, I was perfectly fine with getting a house first and then getting engaged a little bit later on down the road. So we really started house hunting and like moving forward in that process. And so we found our house and we moved into our house that we bought in May. And so I was thinking like, hopefully by the end of the year we would be engaged, but I never put any pressure on him. Like, we talked about it, but it wasn't like, I was like, all right, when is this gonna happen? You know, I just kind of wanted it to happen naturally, and so it did. And it's very, very exciting. It's a really exciting time right now. I mean, I just started a new school year, we moved into this new house, and now I'm engaged. So it's a lot, but it's all good things. And so I'm very, very happy right now. I feel very lucky to have him in my life. I mean, he is just, like, if you know him personally, he doesn't like to be like on camera with me. Otherwise I would have him sitting right here filming with me. He just kind of lets me do my own thing with YouTube, but he more prefers just to like be out of it, which I totally respect. If you know Ricky personally, like if I know you personally, then you know Ricky personally. You know he is just the most genuine, just like down to the soul, best person in the world. I mean, if you know him, he would do anything for you, even if it meant taking something away from himself. You know, he is just he's generous, he's kind to everyone. He is just a good person, and I just feel so lucky to have him in my life. I mean, he treats me so well, and I never even thought that somebody could treat you in a relationship as well as he treats me. So again, I just feel very lucky, and you know, he's pretty lucky too. I mean, I just think that we make a really good team, and so I'm just so thrilled that we're engaged and we're moving on in our lives together. But I did want to tell you guys the story of what happened because that's always kind of fun to hear. I like hearing the stories of how people get engaged. So we went to, well, we're a member of a winery that's by our house. We live by the wineries, if you guys don't know that. They're about 5 minutes away from our house, so it's kind of fun. We are a member at one and we go there all the time and have drinks on the patio. It's kind of one of the things that we like to do together. So anyways, my mom and her boyfriend and my sister and her new boyfriend, my mom had texted me and said, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner at the wineries, do you want to come? And I said, oh, okay, I don't know though, because I'm really busy. They wanted to go the Friday before school started, and if you're a teacher, you know, like that last week before school starts, your head is spinning. There's so many things to get done. You literally don't have time to eat. There was on Thursday, I hadn't eaten until 7 o'clock at night and I didn't even realize it. Like, I went the entire day without eating. Like, who does that? But I was just so busy, and so when they asked me, I was like, you know, no, I can't make it. Like, I have so many things going on right now, but you guys have fun. And so my mom was like, okay, no big deal. Well, then my sister texts me like maybe a few hours later, and she's like, hey, come on, please come with me, blah, 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 blah. It'll be fun. I want you to be there. And I'm like, I can't go. Like, Shannon, I have so many things to do. And so she says, okay, how about this? If I help you in your costume on Friday before the kids come to school, if I help you get everything set up on Friday, will you come? I was like, okay, if I have an extra hand all day on Friday, like from 8 to 3, like sure, I'll come for one drink. And so my sister was like, okay, deal. So I felt relieved because I had an extra hand to help me out on Friday, and I felt like I was making her happy because I was going to dinner with them, whatever. So I told Ricky, I was like, hey, my mom wants to go to dinner on Friday night. Are you available? I don't think I'm gonna eat, I'm just gonna go for one drink. And he was like, okay. So he had agreed to go with me, whatever. And so at that point, I'm thinking, oh, we're just crashing my mom and my sister's little dinner date. Well, Friday rolls around, Shannon comes and she helps me in my costume. And if you know Shannon, she was in my July favorites or June favorites. She is very glam. Like, she does not step out of the house to go to the grocery store without like looking on point. And she's always been like that. And so she shows up at my school and she, no offense, she looks rough. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I went out last night. Her and her boyfriend went to a concert and they were out all night and she was tired and probably a little hungover. But I was like, okay, well, thanks for still coming, you know? And she had on her glasses, no contacts, no makeup, nothing. But she was there and she was ready to work. And honestly, she was like the biggest help to me ever on Friday all day. And I looked rough too. I mean, I had my hair up like this and I was wearing gym clothes. And so she helps me all day, and then as we're leaving, she's like, what are you gonna wear tonight? Which is a typical question for her. She's, you know, we coordinate what we're gonna wear when we go out together. I mean, we don't try to match, but we have a lot of the same stuff, so we always ask each other because we don't want to show up in the same outfit. Like we did for that video that we did. So I'm like, oh, I think I'm just gonna wear this, and I looked disgusting. She's like, don't wear that. I'm like, okay. But it wasn't out of the ordinary for me because if I'm wearing something disgusting, she'll tell me if I look disgusting. So I go, and I actually had a hair appointment that day. So I leave school, I go get my hair done, and then I go home. Ricky's already at home, and I start getting ready to go to dinner. So we didn't drive there. We got an Uber to the wineries, and we get out of the car. We're walking up to where you would go and tell the hostess how many people are coming with you to eat, or we had a reservation, so we just told her our name. And she's like, okay, right this way. So Ricky and I start walking. We're the first ones to arrive, and she brings us to a table that's only set for 4 people. Well, it was really only set for 2 people, but there could fit 4 people at the table. And so I turned to the hostess and I'm like, hey, we're still expecting 4 more. And she's like, oh, okay. So, and then at that point, Ricky turns to her and says, can you take a picture of us? And so I'm like smiling for the picture, and little do I know it's video. And if I have any pictures, I will insert them here of like what the table looked like, but I'd rather keep the video for just us. But yeah, there were roses on the table, there were candles on the table, but it was all so over my head. I was not thinking at all because he had nothing to do with the planning as far as I thought. He was just coming along for the ride, and so I didn't even think anything of it. I was like thinking, oh, well, maybe on Friday nights at the wineries it's super fancy. So the hostess is taking our picture, or what I think she is taking our picture, and then Ricky turns to me and he says, I have a very important question for you. And I'm looking at him like literally like this. And then all of a sudden, the violinist who is right by our table starts playing. And I had noticed the violinist there. She hadn't started playing until he said that, but I was thinking, oh, maybe they just have a violinist at the patio on the wineries on a Friday night. Like, I'm serious when I say, like, everything was going over my head. I had no idea. And so the violinist starts playing when he says, I have a very important question to ask you. And he goes on his spiel, and I honestly don't remember anything that he said because at that point I was realizing what was going on. So like he could have said, your hair looks disgusting and will you marry me? And I would have said yes, because I was listening, but I was just so like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. So I remember he said something like, it's been an amazing 4.5 years, ... and I don't remember anything after that until he got on his knee, of course, and he pulled the ring out of his sock, which he told me later because he was so nervous that if he put it in his pocket, I would be able to feel it or see it. So yeah, he pulls the ring out of his sock, and it was one of those beautiful boxes where when you open it, the light turns on, and so you could really see the ring at night, and I was like blown away. And of course I said yes, and then that was it. Everybody in the crowd, everybody in the crowd started cheering and like congratulating us. And little did I know, it was just a dinner for two. I had my mom and my sister were just part of the plan. They were never going to come. It was just going to be us. And yeah, they did a really good job of keeping it a secret because I had no clue. Like, I always thought when it's going to happen, like, I'm going to know, Ricky's gonna start acting weird, or something's gonna happen where I'm gonna be like, oh, this is the night. But I had no idea, and it really couldn't have gone any better. I mean, he worked so hard making that night perfect. I mean, he hired a violinist, for goodness sakes, and you know, on our first date, he had these like candles that they're like these special kind of candles, so we had those on the table. There were roses everywhere. The ring was everything that I could have asked for and more. Like, if I went into a jewelry store, this is the ring that I would have picked out. He just did an amazing job with everything. I mean, everything was so perfect. Like, the timing of everything, we walked in, he asked the question, the violinist started playing, the girl was videoing us the whole time, and it was just it was so perfect. It was so romantic, and he is very romantic all the time, but I was just blown away by how smoothly everything went. And the crazy thing is, like, maybe if you're engaged or married or you have been in the past, you know, like, when he or she asks you to marry you, it's like you think about that moment for a while, but then it's over like that. And so we sat down at the table and we were both like, all right, well, that's it, I guess. Like, now we're engaged. So, you know, it's just very, it's a very surreal moment, but it goes by very, very quickly. So I am glad that we have it on video so that we can look at it and laugh, because I seriously gave him the weirdest look when he said he had a question for me. I was like, okay, what's your question? You know, I just had no clue. But yeah, so and here's the ring, and I don't want to say what it is, how big it is, all that. I just feel like that's super tacky. If you have like real questions about the ring, then you can DM me on Instagram and I will definitely answer you. But I really wanted a really skinny band, and so I guess the jeweler said this is the skinniest that they can go without having problems with insurance, because if the band is too skinny, then the diamond could easily fall off the band won't support the diamond on there. So this is the skinniest that it can go. It does have diamonds on there. And then yeah, I just wanted a round diamond with only 4 prongs, not 6. I just wanted something very simple, very classic, that I would still love 25 years from now. So I didn't want anything trendy, and I just think that this just fits my style so well. I mean, some may call it boring, my style, but some may call it plain, but I just think that simple and classic is always the way to go. So that's just my personal preference. But this is the ring, and I'm so in love with it. It's hard not to look at it constantly. For the first few days, it's funny because I was constantly looking down like, oh my gosh, is it still there? When I would wake up every morning, I'd be like, oh my gosh, is it still there? And yeah, so this is it. And I do have a picture of it on my Instagram as well. So people have already started asking me, what's the date? I'm like, I don't know, we've been married, or engaged, sorry. We've been engaged for a week. So we have talked about what we're gonna do, and I know so many of you guys were like, we're looking forward to wedding videos. Well, like I said, I've never been one that has dreamed about my wedding ever since I was a little girl. That's just not me. I'm way more practical. And so we're thinking about doing a destination wedding, because I want the people there that I really want there, and I don't want a lot of the drama and stress of a wedding. And so I think we're just going to go to, I don't know, maybe Cancun or something and invite our closest friends and family and just have a good time. So, and then after we have our wedding, Ricky and I will probably go on a honeymoon somewhere else. So yes, I think that's what we're going to do. I'd be happy to do videos about like that kind of process in a wedding, like planning the destination type wedding, but it's never been a dream of mine to spend $30,000 to $50,000 on a wedding. So that's just not, I'm too practical with my money. Ricky really wants like some sort of a party. So we might have like a reception with like friends and family home after the wedding happens, but we're not so sure about that yet. But we're both really into the idea of having a destination wedding. So we're really excited about, you know, starting to plan that. It will be nice because depending on where we go, we want to do it next summer. And so I'll have the summer off. He'll have plenty of vacation time, so we can really take advantage of the travel part of it. So we can go there and then go on our honeymoon and really enjoy the first couple weeks of being married. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for all of your kind comments on Instagram when I posted that picture and on Snapchat. So yeah, I just really appreciate it. And it's so nice to feel like people are happy for you even when you've never even met them in real life. So it's a really cool feeling, and I'm happy to share this with you guys. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.